I want to talk about now is, do the Bengals feel the pressure to win now? Are the Bengals in a win now scenario? Logan, what are your thoughts?
I mean, they should always feel the pressure to a degree to win now. Your quarterback is who he is. You've just signed the receivers. We all know who they are. There's so many positive things on that side of the ball. There's so much production on that side of the ball. There's so much excitement. There's everything you could ever want is on that side of the football. You should be able to win games because of it. I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that you could or should be okay. Anything besides winning football games, as long as Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins now are here. There should never be a year of planned of development, a year planning to, rebuild, retool, whatever. That should never be the plan. I can't express that enough. There's no other way to put it. They should never be okay with being anything other than good. That I don't understand how there could be a thought process of anything different. They have to capitalize on these once in a lifetime kind of talent that they have somehow lucked into with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They have to continue to take advantage of these things. And, these kind of people do not come around often for anybody. They sure in hell don't come around pretty often for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. And which is why everybody is so excited, which is why everybody has so much optimism and so much excitement for it. But they need to kind of start acting like that. They need to push the boundaries, which again, we've talked about so often. There's no doubt in my mind that they should feel the pressure to win. They should want to win. They should be doing everything they can to win. And if that's not the case, I don't think we have the right people for the job.
Yeah, I think for me, the frustrating and the part for me that I've kind of switched a little bit over to is I don't necessarily know if they're, in the business. Obviously, the Bengals want to win the Super Bowl. I don't see them operating as if this is the only year that matters, right? And something that kind of got brought to my attention is when you look at free agency, right? The fact that they re-signed T, they've got Jamar Chase. In their minds, they've extended their window 5+ years. And that's the frustrating part for me, because I look at it and say, hey, you never know when someone's going to get hurt. You never know when your opportunity is gone. But when we talk about the guys who are free agents after the season, there's not notable names. I mean, we're talking obviously Trey Hendrickson, but you got Ted Karras, Cordell Volson, Zach Moss. Like, the core is under contract for the next couple of years. And that's what makes me look at it and say, hey, whereas these other teams like the Buffalo Bills will trade up in the draft, these other teams will go out and make big splashes like the Washington Commanders, go out and trade their draft picks for Deebo Samuel, Laramie Tunsil, try to win now. The Bengals just may not see it that full way, right? Hey, you brought in your defense coordinator, Al Golden, who's going to supposedly be there for a long, long time. So set the foundation now. I think that's how the Bengals are approaching this. And I'm not totally disagreeing with them, but I think if we're going of the mindset, if you're trying to win now, I'm not fully sold that's, their sole mindset. I think that maybe they say, hey, if we were in the playoffs last year, if we won 1 or 2 more of those games, we could have won the Super Bowl last year. And I think that's how they view it. And I just don't look at this roster right now respectfully with this defense. I look at some, let's look at the depth chart of the cornerbacks. I just don't know if there's moves that shouldn't be made right now. Offensive line, I don't know if I'm relying on Cordell Volson as my backup offensive lineman. I don't know if I'm relying on these guys in the playoffs in crunch time. If I were to predict what the Bengals think, I think that they think their team right now can make the playoffs. And if you got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, you've got a chance in any game. And is that the right mindset to have? I'm of the belief that if you got Joe Burrow, I'm totally with you. But I think there's other moves to be made. And that's just my frustration, because when you look at it, who's the big free agents next year? It's Trey Hendrickson, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer is that, yeah, the Bengals absolutely feel pressure to win. If you miss the playoffs, you don't have a job anymore.
Yes.
Like, there's absolute zero reason, with the investments that you made on offense, with having a top 3 quarterback in Joe Burrow, a top 5 receiver in Jamar Chase, a top 10 receiver in T. Higgins. There's really no excuse not to be competitive and at least make the playoffs.
Yep.
There's so many teams that can't get out of their own way, that aren't talented enough to even really hang in a full NFL game with a lot of teams, and you just can't be in possession of all of this talent and all of this ability and all of this continuity that you've had on this offense over the last 5 years, and still come up short against all these teams that are still just trying to find their way, right? That would absolutely mean the end for this coaching staff. So I think all the pressure is on. I really don't see a scenario other than maybe Joe Burrow goes down like week 2 or week 3. God bless, knock on wood. Hope that doesn't happen. Besides that built-in excuse for them to miss the playoffs, I don't see how, if that happened, you could possibly justify keeping the coaching staff. I've talked previously how I think there's other issues that definitely need to be addressed if the Bengals want to be seriously competitive year in, year out. But that's a larger conversation that we'll have when we kind of come to that. If it does come to that, hopefully they make the playoffs and have a deep run and things go well and people stay healthy and you can kind of have years where you get to build. I would love for Al Golden to have more than 1 year as a defensive coordinator if they clean house. So hopefully Al Golden can get the chance, stick around, the coaching staff and all the players, find their stride. We'll hope for the best right now. We'll give our objective analysis when asked for it. And I definitely hope to see more success for the Bengals this year. And it's just you got to take care of more of the lower end of talent, right? You can't be playing down to the level of competition of your opponents constantly.